Okay, this is part 2 for the no grade 1 to 100 scale Gundam Kyrios. So in part 2, as I mentioned, we will be showing you guys the transformation process and anything else to mention regarding the transformed version. So let's see what we got. So first of all, I already took off the shield from the arm just for the sake of convenience. And number 2, let's take off this part right away, the top section of the gun. So I already took that off. And let's start the transformation. So I'm going to follow the manual process. So number 1, they do tell you to do something about the antenna on the head, not the front one, but the back one. So what they tell you to do, it's really kind of unclear, but this thing is a pretty stiff piece. I wasn't really sure if I was doing this correct. So they tell you to pull this off and then kind of lower it down like that. So pull it off and then lower it, something like this. They tell you to do that, and obviously we have to fold the antennas that are on the side of the head. I'm gonna go in there. And number 2, we have to do the obvious, where you do this, put this down, and then flip this up. So when you flip this up, there's actually a hole there. This is where the antenna should be going. So the head has to be facing upwards, and then get the antenna on the correct position, and there you go. Once again, there's no locking mechanism on this section, so this part may be moving while you're doing other parts. So just in the end, just make sure you get the right idea. Okay, number 2, we have to do something with the arms. So number 1, like most Wave Rider or Transforming Mosu, they tell you to move the arms or twist or spin the arm to the 90 degrees to the side like this, and then move the hands like this again. So the same goes for the other arm. Make sure you straighten them out, and then also reposition the hand like that. And once that's up, and as you can see, this thing has moved again, so keep that in mind. And then you have to move up the shoulders like this. Move up the shoulders like this. There you go. Keep in mind though, this transformation is pretty long, so I might not be able to show everything on screen, but yeah. So after that, you have to reposition these orange parts that are on the shoulders, lower them down, somewhere around this section right over here, and you're done with the arms as far as I can tell. And then number 2, you have to move the hands like this. You bend them 90 degrees to the side. And then after this is mostly about regarding the legs. So I believe number 1, you twist the legs to the side like these, 90 degrees to the side, and then you have to open them up a little bit. So you spread them out a little bit like this, and make sure it's straightened up. So make sure you look at the side and make sure it's a straight line. And then you lower the wings, and the feet are actually one of the more confusing parts. So at first they tell you to do this. You straighten them up to the side, and then they tell you to twist it up like this. And then the manual, let's see, I believe, yeah, and then you have to open this section up, I believe. And they do kind of keep mentioning like to do this and that, and then close that up. But still, in the end, I believe this is the end product. So once you're done with that, here comes the part regarding this. So you have to have this section right over here. And then you have to clip. So we have these 2 small pegs on this piece, and then there's a hole right over there, hole on the inside of the size. So what you do is clip that on. So make sure you have a firm connection like that. You hear a click noise, and you're pretty much this actually helps the legs to be not too wobbly, or to keep them in a certain position. So that's pretty good. And yeah. Of course, I think I may have missed a step regarding the arms, where you have to actually attach this part. On the arm, there's a hole right over there. You attach this section right over here. And yeah. And what you do is that for the gun, there's a hole right over there. So you just plug the peg there, and nothing too special. And let me put that down. And for the shield, you need to do one thing. Or 2 things. So number 1, you have the connector right over here. You plug it out, and you can see this is the hole that was originally in. So you have to move 1 up to move the peg there, and then you have to split this section up. The main reason why is that you're still going to clip it onto the arm. You still clip it on, but being a long shield, the shield is actually going to be going through the wing. So which is why you need to split it up. And once you have it in, and there you go. You have the MA mode. So here, the main reason why you need this piece is because there's a peg here, which is actually meant for an action base. So there we go. Here we have the full transformed version. So yeah, I mean, it looks pretty decent, of course, and yeah, I actually really like the look of this. Of course, like in the end, as I mentioned, there's not many locking mechanisms here and there, so you need to make sure everything is like in position. But once you got it right, it should look pretty decent and well made. And yeah, and while in this mode, I don't think there's not much to show. I mean, it's not like there's any articulation to do or bend, so yeah, it's pretty much this. And I really do like this detail of a sticker and clear piece on top. And that's pretty much it for the review. So once again, it was a pretty simple transformation as long as you have the manual. If you're following it, yeah, and if you built it correctly, there shouldn't be any issues going on with this mode as well. So it makes me wonder like how the Master Grade is going to pull off this. Could it, I hope I do hope they don't make it more complicated, but I am expecting a lot more detail like inner frames and such. Hopefully there won't be any parts that will be too fragile in the Master Grade. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the no grade 1 to 100 scale Gundam Kyrios. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. And you can also expect a comparison when the Master Grade comes out. Anyway, once again, see you guys next time!